Hey everyone, Mazer here, and welcome to Final Thoughts, where we discuss the games we've completed during our live streams. Today we'll be talking about Dragon Quest Builders. So where do I start with this? I tried the demo during E3 and fell instantly in love with it. I bought it when it came out, and at first it seemed like a very fun and interesting game. Unfortunately, those feelings were short-lived. Dragon Quest Builders is not a bad game, but it makes a lot of bad decisions. But let's talk about what the game did well. First of all, the game is beautiful. Square Enix did a wonderful job combining the Dragon Quest style with Minecraft's building style. The characters, enemies, and worlds all look very good. They are bright, colorful, and a joy to look at. The bosses are properly epic in size and scale. Each one requires a different trick to beat, and they are just hard enough to keep you on your toes, but not so much where you feel frustrated. I personally like the Fern and Magmalis fiends in Chapter 3. They were pretty neat. There are also quite a variety of rooms in the game. Everything from basic bedrooms to hospitals, bathing houses to armories. There are over 100 rooms to craft in the game, if you are able to build them. And that brings us to the game's biggest flaw. It is very restrictive in story mode. This is due to a mechanic that really ruined the overall experience of the game for me. You see, once you advance to a next territory, you lose the entire inventory. On top of that, the next territory may be missing materials you need to craft items learned from the previous level. So all those cool buildings, blueprints, and forges you built are now useless. You can't rebuild them. This really killed my drive to make later towns look nice. After the second level, I stopped caring how my towns looked because in the long run, it didn't matter. I don't lose town levels if the building gets destroyed. The NPCs don't really use the rooms all that much, and in the end, I won't even return to the previous towns to enjoy my work. By the end of the game, I just threw together whatever I could to maximize the town's level and left it at that. I didn't care how they looked anymore. Grinding also ruins the building experience. Several key items such as red silk or floato copper took me over an hour to grind for because of the scarcity and quantity needed. Grinding becomes very apparent at the start of a new chapter because, like I said before, you lose all the resources and have to start all over. Item durability did not help the experience at all. I know games like Minecraft have durability as well, but it didn't feel like a hassle in Minecraft as it does here in Builders. Maybe it is because you could easily build a crafting table in Minecraft, whereas you really can't in Builders. I mean, you could build an extra one and carry it with you, but that feels like an inconvenience to me. But as bad as all these were, my biggest problem I have with this game is the fact that enemies hurt you when you touch them. This caused me more frustration than anything else in the game because you have to be so close to enemies and most of the time you end up bumping into them and taking more damage. This would not be a problem if your attacks had better range, but for many enemies you have to be right up in there. It made combat not fun and more of an irritation than anything. Finally, we come to the story, which, to me, is a mixed bag. I really enjoyed how the game linked itself to the original Dragon Warriors. That was really neat, and added a lot to the lore and mythology of the world we were in. But the game's ending was probably the most lackluster I had seen in recent times, and like the building and grinding, it just feels unsatisfying. Now, it may sound like I'm tearing this game apart, and sure, that may be true, but it is because there was so much wasted potential. Luckily, Dragon Quest Builders 2 fixed several of these problems. Building is a lot more satisfying, NPCs do more around the towns, durability for tools and weapons were removed, and enemies no longer damage you on contact. And you can take items with you town to town. Like I've said, Dragon Quest Builders was not a bad game. It was an experimental game, something that the developers hadn't tried before. Sure, it had some kinks and hiccups, but overall, it still contained a great mechanic and a great idea. And the sequel kept what worked while expanding upon it and removing or altering everything that didn't work. Builders 1, overall, is a great stepping stone, but not a great game. I highly recommend a sequel above this, but if you want to see how it all started, go ahead, give Dragon Quest Builders 1 a chance. But if you want the more polished experience, skip straight over to Dragon Quest Builders 2. I promise you, you won't miss much.